Hello, I'm Obie. Welcome to Future View podcast.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Olusola Ajide, PhD. It's not ordinary doctor. It's a. Thank you so much for your time. I know it's short notice, and you're here today. And Future View podcast is I call it African Seat at the AI and Emerging Technology Table. Each episode we try to bring expert stories, ideas, and practical steps for normal citizens, leaders, NGOs, and even global partners to have insight. Listen to experts like you. So if you don't mind, please, can you introduce yourself and a bit of your background, please?
All right. Okay. Thank you so much. And it's actually, like I told you earlier before we went live, that thank you so much for the privilege and the opportunity to be on your show. My name is Dr. Olusola Ajide, and I'm a global transformational leader. I mentor people across different parts of the world. And I'm an award-winning CEO. I run an organization, a charity, and a company registered by guarantee with the Companies House that tackles issues that tackles loneliness, social isolation, employability, support to people who have been guests of His Majesty's. That's in Peter Hill, that is, who have been to prison. We support them to bring them back into the society and creating awareness, particularly for the health of minority ethnic people living in the UK. And also, I'm also the chairperson of the Nigerian Environmental Society UK chapter. So quite a lot of things I do. And interestingly, which is why I was interested when I would have just said, I would have declined it when I saw the invite, but I accepted because maybe I'm already jumping into your first question. Why I think I am still on the journey. I am not yet there. Having used AI, but most recently, I partook in an hackathon.
Wow.
In a hackathon of using AI to solve big global challenges.
Yeah.
So, and using AI to build solutions to problems. So, and what my own team were looking at, which we are now registering the company, is eco energy, using AI to tackle challenge or energy consumption, waste in energy, ensuring that there's good energy consumption, and ensuring that global climate change, based on the way buildings operate, are not impacted by the way. So how do we use AI to do that? So that's what just about almost less than a month ago, which I partook in that. And that has now shaped my mind to begin to look at other projects. In fact, I'm already discussing with some other colleagues and some people on using AI to tackle some problems here on the continent of Africa because of I told you, I run the Africa Coaching and Mentorship Initiative. And on that particular platform is for coaching and for mentoring and raising new leaders on the continent of Africa. And as such, we are passionate about looking at the global and the challenges we have on the continent. Yeah. So how can we use AI to tackle the challenges like malaria on the continent? How do we use AI to tackle malaria? And so just a lot of things. So we're a little bit busy.
That's very interesting. That's very interesting. I think you're in the right place. I was going to ask, what are the most significant opportunities you see for AI adoption in Africa's key sectors? Be it agriculture or healthcare, like you mentioned now, or education. What are the unique challenges does the continent face in realizing these opportunities?
All right, thank you very much. The interesting thing is that the AI has come, and it has come to stay. In every I'm not, and please don't hold me straight on this or quote me on this. I believe in my own little understanding, in every maybe 50 years or every 100 years, there's always a disruption to the way the world runs. Just like in 1914, there was the what you can call like the challenge that they had, like COVID, which happened there in 1914, global challenge also. And now we are having a repeat like that in 2020. And that brought about a disruption and a little bit of democratization of many structures, as it were. And likewise, now when it comes to the issue of data, like it is often said, and people are saying it, AI is now the new, or data is the new oil, so to speak. Is now where everybody is going. Why? Because when we have data, we are able to bring change to human beings. And now we are looking at how do we use this data or this data to solve problems. Like we know, Africa is the new frontiers. Africa is the next place of transformation. Why? Because close to 70% of Africans are still under the age of 25. We are still a very young continent. And if we're a young continent, a lot of problems are endemic. And some of these ways we can need to look at how do we solve the problem. So what are some of those problems that we have? Like rightly pointed, the issue of agriculture is a problem. The issue of healthcare is a problem. The issue of even engineering, manufacturing, it's a problem. So virtually, is it in the aviation sector? Is it also in the issue of climate change, weather? It's a problem. And in all these areas, or in whatever challenge area we have, AI portends to be able to help us in being able to solve and tackle this problem. Now, again, we are not yet there yet, but we are on the way or on the journey to the place. Because somebody can be asking you, how can AI help a farmer who is an agriculture, who is in the area? Because of the predictive nature when we have data. So say, for example, when we are able, and that is one of the greatest challenge we have in Africa, we don't have data centers, we don't have data storage, we don't have historical data, whereby in the West here, those things are available. And because they are available, they can give you, because they have a database of people who have been sick for the past 50 years, 100 years. When you have those kind of rich data, you can quickly predict and use the predictive technology of AI to know what's going to happen next. So, but we don't have those kind of huge, large data already in Africa. But I believe with this awareness and with kind of conversation, I believe opportunities will come that somebody like yourself and other people on the continent. In fact, I'm just jumping off a call. There's an AI call I moved away from to attend this one, organized by a friend in South Africa and another friend in Botswana. These are young chaps who are doing great and mighty things when it comes to the issue of using AI, because they are doing. So you could see, so before I lost my line of thought, so how can we use AI in helping in our agriculture, for example, is being able to have data sets, historical data of weather patterns, historical data of rainfall patterns, historical data of all those kind of things. And when we have those kind of huge historical data with AI, we can use AI to be able to, as predictives, as predictors, to detect and to say, oh, at this particular time, there will be landslide, there will be rain, or there will be this particular disease, or this particular disease will be more prevalent at this time. So the farmer or the person who is the person who wants to use this kind of data will be able to know, oh, what should I plant? So it gives that opportunity to predict what's going to be the outcome. And I think this is very, 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 very important. The same thing ties out even in the health sector. We talk about the issue of having rain patterns, having weather patterns, we can predict if there's going to be an outbreak of malaria, for example, in a particular area, when we look at all these things. But if we go back to what I said earlier, data centers, data is key. Without data, we cannot move forward. And when it comes to the challenge of the epileptic power so challenges we have on the continent of Africa, again, you see, that again becomes a new problem, isn't it? Because how do you store data for 50 years and then not getting lost if there's power outage? So we just a way to go when it comes to the infrastructure for us to be able to build and have data centers and data warehouses that we can be able to pour our data, this information we need to be able to predict and move forward. I will stop there for now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that insight. What we're trying to do is to, like you just rightly said, how to get Africa and the continent involved in AI and how to introduce what AI can do to them. But there's this, it's not only in Africa, people don't believe in AI as they should, but while they're there struggling to think about AI, it's rapidly improving, in terms of tools and technology. So my question is, what are the strategies African organizations will adopt to stay current and avoid all those dismissing technology-based, our outdated impressions that AI or technology cannot change? What would you say are strategy we can use to make sure we're ahead of time? Or keep informed of what AI improvement changes?
All right, thank you very much. I think one of the first thing I would suggest, or which I think is key, I'm a person that believes in having a growth mindset. And I believe that there is the biggest room in the world is improvement. So I believe there's always room for improvement. So for businesses that run on the continent of Africa, there's a need to be able to, for particularly those who are leaders of these areas, there's a need to be able to have a growth mindset, change from the traditional of thinking that technology cannot help. See it as any development or any change can help your organization. In fact, it has, like I mentioned earlier during the introduction, look at it that the landscape has now been democratized. What do I mean? What would take you 1 week to write a report for tender, for example, to write a tender to find out the number of tenders that are available in government in any part of Africa or any part of the world. AI can help you to do it in under 1 minute, under 2 minutes, and write the report for you. Whereas previously, in one week, you are still searching here, copying here, looking for here, looking for, with the right prompt engineering codes, you are able to get that information. So I think every business that runs on the continent of Africa must begin to see AI not as a threat, but as an opportunity. As an opportunity. So the question is now for them, when you have the change mindset and see it not as a threat but as an opportunity, the next question will now be asking people like yourself or like myself or any other person that is available that they know that is especially, how can I use this to scale my business, to improve my business? With the proper guidance, they will be amazed at the benefits that are there. A lot of benefits are there.
Guidance. Thank you so much. A mindset change. That's key. Thank you so much for that. And going forward, we collaboration is what we found difficult. But with AI, you must collaborate to improve. So it's no more an option. I mean, people like to compete, but yes, you can still make your living when collaborating. That's my view. So what role do you think or do you see collaborative competition, not just people being on their own silos in that sense? Competition using multiple tools and platforms together. And how do you see it in enhancing outcome for African tech projects?
Like just like what I said earlier, the aspect of a change mindset is critical. A change mindset is critical, and if it has to do with the technology sector, there's no way you can succeed in the technology sector without collaborating. It's not possible. So you must and that's where I think this aspect of if your personality is influencing the way you run business is also change your mindset. And no man is an island.
Yeah.
Like from your tribe and from where I come from also, that adage that says that is you cannot sweep or clean a place with just one stick of broom.
True.
You need a bunch. And so if you do, there's no, it will even be a lie for you to say that you are a company and you don't want to collaborate. Because if you are the only person in this company, you don't have any staff, it's limited what you can achieve. Whatever you achieve is the staff that help you to achieve it. Like by the grace of God, in our work, what we do in 2023, we were privileged by the mercy of God to be invited by King Charles for his coronation because of what we do in the community. Now, I can't say the only one that did that. It's the people working with me. We work together with all the things we do, all the things we do that make people to recognize and to know what we are doing. So the point again is collaboration is key. And when it comes to the issue of using in technology, there's no how. Collaboration is just key. And that, again, in the world of today, is second to none.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And another question is, people worry about their jobs and everything, that AI is getting better, people that knows about it. So the AI becoming capable of handling more complex tasks. So the question is, what skills will remain critical for professionals to maintain a competitive edge and drive value beyond what AI can automate?
Okay. Well, the first and foremost, like I told you earlier, one of the things I run an employability support to people, and in the space of the last close to 6 years, I've supported close to 550 people, and over close to 300 of them have found employment in JP Morgan, Deloitte, NHS, ASDA, Technic FFP, Scott Oil, the Ministry of Defense, and all sectors. So when it comes to the issue of working in any place, resourcefulness for me is key. So AI, people can be afraid that AI will take their jobs, but actually AI might not actually take your job. It is the person that knows how to prompt, like I was telling you, it's a prompt engineering. If you to prompt the AI on its own is just a bunch of data that have been trained. You cannot do anything. There must be somebody. So the key thing is for people to begin to, again, back to what I said earlier, change mindset. Don't say, I've been working, I've been doing this job for the past 15 years. Like, in the time of our parents, they work in one place and they retire at the age after 35 years, and they give them a refrigerator. They give them a refrigerator or a standing fan to compensate them after 35 years. But the world we are in today, the guys that they don't even want to go to work anywhere. if they work in one place for 4 years, 5 years, is too long. Things are evolving. Things are evolving. So because of this evolution, people should be thinking of how can I make myself better? How can I be more resourceful? What skills do I need to learn? Do I need to? When I attended the hackathon and they told me, oh, you're not a prompt engineer. I said, prompt, is that what it is? Prompt engineer? So I'm not an engineer. Well, interesting. But you learn, new skills. So what I'm saying, have a mind of a growth mindset. Be thinking of what can I learn? Like yourself, look at how you have transitioned into now becoming used to what you're doing now. So that I think is the key thing for everyone. Be thinking like I'm not resting on my horse, apart from the fact that I'm an academic. Apart from that, I run a charity. I'm now dabbling into AI with the hackathon I attended, and we're now using AI for energy consumption in Europe and across the world. So, hey, it just must be stretching yourself and learning new things. And I believe that if you have that mindset and you don't want to just tank yourself, you shouldn't be afraid of changes that AI will bring.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Yeah, you mentioned data at the beginning, which is the lifeline of AI or every other emerging technology, by the way. So with all these global tech giants rolling out advanced AI models and platforms, how can African stakeholders ensure local relevance and inclusivity in AI solution to make sure that to avoid biases? Because if they use their data and all the time, it's gonna cause some biases or wrong information. How do African stakeholders ensure relevance of African data?
Yeah, thank you very much for that. Now, when it comes to the issue of localization of data, and I think that is where the issue of government and businesses in Africa should be very intentional. Like you can build your own ChatGPT. You can build your own. There are models in which you can customize it. And in that is where, so I believe that the African stakeholders and people who are, I can classify them as gatekeepers in Africa who have this leverage of money, influence, and connection, is we need to think of structures. How do we create ChatGPTs, for example, that in which I can converse with it in Yoruba, and you can converse with it in Igbo, or in Swahili, or in Zulu. So you see, you are bringing it down.
Yeah.
And by the time you are able to do that, you are able to have this opportunity of customizing this. The issue of the wrong information or bias will not be there again, because now it's democratized to that, and that's part of the I think the successes of areas where people have retained their local language, like China,
Yeah,
like France, or all those places. They still speak and communicate in their mother tongue, and they seem to have like an edge, so to speak, over other places, so to speak, isn't it? So, and that's why you have DeepSeek also coming out of China. So what is wrong in us, even in Africa, if we have the wherewithal to come up with our own Africa platform, in which it can talk about all the languages spoken on the continent of Africa. People can and you can prompt it. You can just ask it in Igbo and it will answer you, because it has, like, I don't know if you know that you use Gemini. You can use Gemini. You can point to something with the camera to Gemini, and Gemini will tell you how to. So it's possible. It's possible for us to democratize and to be able to use this in our local settings, to teach people, to teach languages, to include, because it's faster, so to speak, condensed information than even Google. People don't now even want to use Google again, they just want to use ChatGPT because you get quickly. Except, of course, well, let me not digress. Besides, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And while we're trying to encourage people or create awareness for AI and automation, my question is how can startups or businesses, why I say startups is they're ones that usually, because they may be younger or know what's going on with in the field of technology. So how do we effectively leverage both human talent and AI tools to drive productivity and innovation rather than just relying solely on AI and automation? How do we make sure there's a human face to it?
Well, the issue of the human face, it is first and foremost, I think there needs to be mass education. I think there needs to be mass education because it's the human being that will use the AI.
True.
So if the human being does not know that it's possible, there's no how it's going to go and look for solution. So the awareness of mass education in Africa is key. And quite a lot of Mr. Tony Elumelu is doing quite a lot with the Tony Elumelu Foundation, empowering entrepreneurs on the continent of Africa, doing massively across with his Tony Elumelu Foundation. And I think those kind of, imagine if you have 50 of those kind of a person, of a mindset on the continent, he has reached hundreds of thousands of people, of young people, of young entrepreneurs. So those are kind of platforms that in their curriculum, for example, and in our own small mentorship, the one you run, the one I do, also to begin to push this out among young people of the need to use technology. Don't just carry it to AI, because AI is just one aspect of technology.
Yeah.
There are other aspects. So the use of technology broadly, using technology broadly to be able to do business. Either is through the mobile payments, payment gateways, mobile payments. So either is through the issue of using their phones to be able to send invoices, to run businesses, to serve as virtual assistants. So technology broadly provides a lot of opportunity. AI is just one of those new technologies. So it's to ensure that entrepreneurs more broadly are acceptable and open to technology. And I believe with that, we can be able to help them, we can show them the benefits of how we can help them in the business. No man rejects what they know can help them.
Exactly.
No man.
I can hear you upskilling, reskilling, the awareness, and then people being able to lifelong learning. It's very key at this time. Thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you. And by the way, I was a mentor on Tony Olumelu's pilot program the first time, I think it's 10 years ago or thereabout. I was a mentor on that program, and I mentored two people, one from Uganda and one from Nigeria, and both of them are doing so well in their businesses now. I did for like 3 years, but I dropped off at some point. Lots of work to do.
Excellent.
But, yeah. Okay, and to conclude, what are the most actionable tips you will offer African stakeholders, be it their policymakers, educators, or entrepreneurs, whoever, to maximize the benefit of AI while, very important, addressing the ethical and social and infrastructural concerns? What are the tips or just general advice?
Okay. Now, for stakeholders, either entrepreneurs or companies, back to what I mentioned earlier, I'll just summarize based on what I said earlier, is first and foremost not to be traditional in our thinking. Because to be honest with you, we have a lot of people in high places on our continent who are still very traditional. And apologies to that. So it's first and foremost to not be traditional in their thinking. And if they're not traditional in their thinking, to be open to see how can we advance the polity, how can we advance the continent, and to be Pan-African in their outlook. By the virtue of us running the Africa Coaching and Mentorship Initiative, it has helped us to be able to provide a platform where we sit, we mentor people right from the Gambia to all the way, to Kenya, to Ghana, to Nigeria, down to South Africa, to Tanzania, to Zimbabwe, and across. And we are seeing that it's possible to raise a new crop of people. So being Pan-African also is key. Because even Pan-African, if we're allowing xenophobia to stand our way, we will not be able to even harness the power of AI. So being Pan-African, I think, is the second thing I will mention, aside from the fact of having not being traditional, being Pan-African, and know that we are just but one race as Black people, and we can solve our problem. Then the third thing I would mention is this aspect of those people themselves. They need to learn a new skill. However level they are. You see, it is what somebody have experienced that they will be willing to try and say, wow, so that's how it helps, and they want to do. So what is wrong in them going to get a certificate in data analysis or AI something? Because when we open that mindset, those in other capacity can be able to transform. And I know it's why you get a little bit encouraged when you hear some people in politics in our country, Nigeria, who go back to school after they reach a particular apex.
Yeah.
To be a lawyer or being called. You get encouraged. It means those people are thinking of reinventing them. So we need all the stakeholders, we need people at whatever level to be upskilling, to get new skill and see how they can use AI. So I think these are critical steps.
Right.
So after we have all these critical steps, the next thing is we need the money to be able to intentionally build data centers, data warehouse, and provide the issue of uninterruptible power supply. If you have a data center, you must have uninterruptible power supply.
True.
Keep track of all the data. Because if you don't have that infrastructure, I was chatting, was it today, of talking about today, of how corruption on our continent cripples and reputs us where we are still there. It's because of corruption. So if we have people who are in leadership, who are compassionate, who are desirous of bringing a change, and not thinking of what only them, how many houses can they live inside? How many beds can they sleep in overnight? If somebody has a 50-bedroom house, even a 5-bedroom house, can you sleep in all the 5 rooms? Even if you have a bed of 7 king size or whatever, can you even sleep on all the beds all at a time? You can only sleep on a side, just one side.
True.
It will be psychosis. If you sleep on one side, after 30 minutes you wake up, you move to the third side. After 30 minutes you move up, you sleep to the third side. After that, then you say, I'm finished with this room. Let me go to the next room and sleep. That is psychosis. So how much money can we need? So we need to tackle the issue of greed, and that's where the issue of ethics come into play. Ethics when it comes to whatever resources we have to bring change to people, and ethics when it comes to using AI for positive good. Prompting AI, when I talk about prompting AI, creating the elements in an ethical way.
Yeah.
With, creating the LMMs in an ethical way, and also prompting the LMMs to produce something in an ethical way, not something that will bring about destruction to our society or to the relative peace that we need for the continents.
Wow, thank you so much, Dr. Olusola. It's been great speaking to you, and that's all we have time for. But I wish we have enough. Maybe you'll come back sometime later again on the show. Thank you so much. It's been very insightful and engaging, and I hope our audience enjoys it and find it very useful as I do, as I'm enjoying it now, and I want to continue. But then, time. Thank you so much once again. And listeners will be here again for next episode. Thank you so much.